to get an opportunity like this from Escape to Create, this residency where I can just come and have a whole month of unfiltered time and space with all my needs taken care of, so I can just focus on writing. Greatest gift of my life. Greatest month of my life, seriously.
It helped me to kick back and relax more. I think being self-employed, even though I'm an artist, it's still what I do, and I feel like I'm constantly working one aspect of it or another. Either I'm applying to shows, or I'm updating the website, or I'm actually in the studio working. And so taking time to just go and knit, read a book, something, doesn't always happen because I can always find something to do. So this has been really good in terms of reconnecting with nature in a really meaningful way. I mean, the beach is different every day. I mean, it's really quite amazing.
Well, this is such a special and unique experience because it allows you to take a month off from your life and solely focus on your creative work. I think a lot of people work 40-hour-a-week jobs so they can support their creative habit, and just being able to get away from that and get away from the distractions of my everyday life has been so beneficial. And then meeting up with the creative community here, the other residents, and really bouncing ideas off of them and feeling the support of that creative community has meant the world.
We came to Seaside with the idea of having a month to really focus on what we do, which is write songs. And so much of our daily life is about being super busy and running around and being on tour and working and things like that. And so the opportunity to sit here and focus on writing songs, and what we did is write a body of songs about Civil War landscapes that have been threatened by or lost to urban sprawl and development.
Here it's really nice to be able to get on the bike and just, bike over to the record store, and I know all the guys there. And
as a writer, it's a very solitary kind of vocation, and so it's very easy to just sit in front of your laptop and in your house, and I think that it behooves any writer or any person and their creativity to get out of the house and take a walk. We're given bicycles, and so I think even though I have a bike back home, I never ride it, but I have ridden my bike religiously here, and I have bumped into all sorts of people on my rides around town, and it's just really inspiring to get out of your own four walls and see what's out there, because you never know who you're going to meet.
The added bonuses of being here was the community, and that's something we didn't really expect.
When you have so many passionate people gathered in one place, the whole town is lifted.
It's a small knit community, especially in the winter. There's not a lot of people here, so you see familiar faces.
Everyone was just so engaging, and I'm just so appreciative of what you do.
And now we feel like we know most everybody in Seaside, which is, I mean, I guess that's something I didn't think about coming into it, is how difficult it would be to leave. I mean, there are people we're now friends with, we've been seeing, every day, and people we see on our walks and bike rides and jogs around town and surrounding communities. So, I mean, we're going to have a little bit of withdrawal, I think, trying to readjust away from this.
Yeah, we really connected, and so it was really nice. We'd bump into each other in town or at the beach, and we'd just hang out.
I think art is imperative to any community. Even small towns in rural Kansas where I grew up, there were quilters. My grandmothers were both quilters, and you're creating a legacy. You're leaving something behind.
The community really does embrace artists and wants us to succeed, I think. That's what it feels like, and that's nice to feel as an artist.
Being able to leave a legacy, I think, is the greatest thing that art can do for any community. Otherwise, it's just four white walls.
I sort of found inspiration, I think, everywhere in Seaside. It's so beautiful, and it really just sort of gives you creativity, like as a gift. It's so weird to be here and experience it, but I didn't expect to be as creative as I was for this month here. I thought it might be helpful to have the time, but it is a very inspirational town and place, and very magical.
You can choose your level of integration and how much support or community you need each day or each hour, each minute, and that's been really wonderful too.
after you live somewhere for a month, it's kind of hard not to have a connection with it. And I think, in fact, we were just thinking now how we've sort of created, to me it's about energy of a space, and I think we knew instantly walking in that there was a great energy to this cottage. And we felt very lucky to have a really cool, nice energy space, very peaceful.
I love the cottages because they all have a name, and I think that's really, it gives you its own identity. This one is called Sunrise Surprise, and I didn't know what that meant, but I remember waking up, and for my first week here, I woke up at 7:14 every single morning, and it was because these butter color curtains really magnify the sunlight, and it is a surprise. Being back here in the forest, you wouldn't think you would get that, and it's so bright. It's like having your own rooster to wake you up and get you going.
It gets you back to sort of the basics of, you know, of why and how you started being creative.
It's almost as if we're creating collaborations, whether we recognize it or not, but when you see someone else's art, whatever kind of art that is, and you appreciate it, it can't help but leave its imprint on your soul.
Well, I think too, having artists across the disciplines, we've all realized how shared our experience is, because it's a very difficult time to be an artist. In a culture that has sort of devalued art, I think as a whole in the United States, it's not real high on the chain of importance in a lot of people's minds, and it's also very difficult financially to be an artist. And
Yes.
we've all sort of shared that experience across these disciplines.
I really do want to thank Escape to Create and Marcia and Karen. I know I was on the wait list, and I was like one of the first alternates, and Karen called me. I remember because I was at Zion National Park, and we're walking up to the park gate, and she's calling me, and she's like, so we have questions about your project, and what if you didn't have as big a space as you thought, because I originally thought I was going to work on really big drawings. And I was like, oh, that's fine. I'm happy to adapt, and it actually turned into something even better.
For me, many thank yous. One, of course, to Ed and Kathy Toole, who gave this house to us for a month, essentially, and entrusted us with its well-being.
We took care of it. It's still standing.
It is still standing. So to Ed and Kathy Toole, also to Jane Cruz, and to Marcia Dowler, and to Karen Holland, who were just tireless in making sure we were comfortable and happy and healthy. And I think to so many members of the community that we came across and interacted with, from Robert Davis to Glenn Sewell, to Mark and Paige Schnell, to all these people that have made this community really all the cogs that turn the machinery of Seaside, Heavenly and Bill Dawson. I mean, we've just met so many amazing people who have been supportive of us as musicians, and I'm hoping we'll become, lifelong friends and acquaintances of ours.
I think they will. I really feel like they will. I feel like the friends that we've made here are lifelong ones, and people are just so nice and so sweet and so just caring and want to know what you're doing, and they're interested in what you're doing, and it's been lovely. It really has been.
And I think we both said that this place sort of gets in your soul, and we're trying to already figure out when we can come back, because it's just, it
Yeah.
really does. It becomes a part of who you are, and so I think having this opportunity made by all those folks and by Seaside as a whole has been just invaluable.
I'm so thankful to Escape to Create for this opportunity, and Marcia Dowler, Karen Holland, Jane Cruz, Kathy Toole have gone out of their way to facilitate meetings with other artists, as well as make sure that we had everything that we needed when we needed it. It's great to be spoiled, and I feel like I've been spoiled, I've been ignited, and I feel peaceful, and I also feel set free, and that's all with thanks to Marcia, Karen, Kathy, and Jane, and of course the other artists. I didn't realize that I would come here and leave with as many friends. I thought I would make a couple, but our entire group got along so well.
Art is as important as breathing, and I like to think of the old days. In the Roman times, it was the artists that sat and dined with the kings, and I had a great opportunity to go to Rome, go visit the Vatican, and there on the wall is this painting by Raphael, I believe, and it's Apollo, and we know it's Apollo because of the laurel wreath, and around him are painted the great poets of the days, Homer and Virgil and Dante, and I thought how wild that in this place where everything else is, the books of the Bible and everything, that they have the god of the arts, Apollo, there. And I realized that after I studied it, that the Romans and the Greeks believed that the arts are so important because it's the arts that link humans to God. So when you see a beautiful painting, or when you read poetry or hear poetry or see a play or hear music and it moves you, that's that little bit of tenderness, as Edward Hirsch likes to say, but that's the God inside of you. That's reaching a part of you that's it's hard to reach in any other way but through the arts, and that's why arts are so important to us. That is what keeps us human. That's what keeps us eternal.
It's so important to have a program like Escape to Create, because artists come from all over the world to do this program, and there aren't that many out there like it, and it's such a gift to the artist to have, to take a month and not worry about anything and have everything taken care of, and have a moment to really focus on being an artist. And if you look back historically, the cultures and cities that flourished most with the arts, that we look back at Rome and Florence and Athens, they all had patrons of the arts. And there's not a lot of that in the United States right now. And what seems to be remembered most about a culture is often the art and the way art impacts people. I mean, we look back at those the work of the old masters from centuries and centuries, and they still emotionally impact you. So in order for that sort of thing to grow in the United States, programs like this are so important. So I think this is an incredibly unique thing, and it's an incredibly important part of what makes Seaside such an amazing place. I mean, to have a small community like this be so invested in the arts, I wish we had hundreds more places like it on earth, but we don't, which is what makes it so special. So this program is it's certainly changed and enriched our experience as artists.
I can't help but equate Seaside, Florida to Florence, Italy. I mean, just look at the time of the Renaissance, and the Medici families were the patrons of the art. And the Medicis, because of their support and sponsorship of, Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo and Donatello, I mean, all of those great artists were able to create incredible things because they had patrons, meaning they had space and time and their needs taken care of. And I think Seaside is a little Florence. I really do.
I think in America right now that arts funding is getting cut. I know in my home state of Kansas it was a huge fiasco last year, and I think that's indicative of what's happening in other parts of the country. And so to be able to be here in Seaside, where artists and the arts and new generative thought and critical thought is brought here and appreciated, is such a beacon of hope for other artists, and I'm so appreciative of that, and I can't believe that I'm a part of the 20-year class, and I hope that the community continues to support this wonderful program for what it does. There have been national bestsellers created here in Seaside as a part of this program. There have been albums that have been cut that will go on to win Grammys. It's very important, and I think it's a source of pride for the community. You've got the Emerald Coast, but you have diamonds living here among you, and please support that.